Hello, welcome. I'm so happy you're here. In this video, I'm going to do something a little bit different, and I'm going to tell you about a very significant experience in my life, and that was getting sober. So I got sober in 2011, and it's actually important to say up front, I'm not sober anymore, but I was sober for 6.5 years. And getting sober and being sober was a very significant part of my personal life path. So I just want to share that with you and I guess just let you in on a little bit more about me so you can know who I am and where I came from and the things I've been through. And I guess why is because we're all on this evolution process. We are all personally evolving. That's kind of the thing in life, right? Like we are all evolving and constantly becoming and opening and transforming. And so this is a big piece of my path, and I just want to share it with you. Before I jump in, please make sure you're subscribed to my channel in the corner or below. Also know that I offer lots of self-study manifesting courses. They were just on sale, so you guys probably already know about them. And I'm also doing my weekly giveaway. I give away 3 ebooks on Friday to 3 people. The way to enter into the contest is to subscribe to my channel, to like the video, and to comment below. I give 3 ebooks to 3 people every week. Okay, so let's talk about this. I actually don't get that many questions about substance abuse and manifesting, alcohol and manifesting. However, I have gotten comments here and there. Usually they're sent via email, and that makes sense. It's an edgier topic, you know, so a lot of people like to be private about topics like this. So I have had people ask me about alcohol and manifesting. I will talk a little bit about that in this video. However, I just want to share with you, start by sharing my personal journey. So in 2011, in November 25th, 2011, was the day of my spiritual awakening. It was also the day that I got sober. And so what happened on that day, or at least the day before, was I hit what they call rock bottom. And let's see, how did that happen? I mean, it was a slow and steady build into and kind of years of dysfunctional drinking for me, dysfunctional partying, drinking a lot, drinking too much, partying a lot. Now, I wasn't the type of alcoholic that, you know, I still was like kind of socially acceptable in my drinking. And so when I got sober, a lot of people were actually kind of surprised. Some people who were close to me, though, were not surprised. Like my mom was not surprised. My boyfriend was not surprised. They were both relieved and happy because they had seen kind of the worst of it. And, yeah, they didn't like what they saw, of course, because there was a lot of I did have a dysfunctional relationship to alcohol at that time. So what happened was for years and years and years, I started drinking in high school, then definitely partied a lot in college, and then through my 20s. Honestly, I almost don't even remember my 20s because they were so characterized by partying. And I don't necessarily, it's not like I regret that, but it's just what it was. Like I partied a lot. And that was part of my identity. That's part of how I knew who I was. That was just what was important to me. I almost didn't know what else to do is another thing. And I think that's common for people. There's just a particular lifestyle. It's actually very common for people to be partiers. And so that was me. But it was slowly progressing, my drinking was, to the point where I was having experiences where I was like really over drinking. And the main issue for me when I would get really drunk was I'd tap into deeper wounding while I was drunk. And then that deeper wounding would get exploded out onto my partner at the time, which is super dysfunctional. You know, it's dysfunctional. It's not, it's even like, you can even think of it as abusive. It's not okay, you know, and it wasn't okay for me. But I was doing that. I was perpetually doing that. I would get too drunk and then I would explode on my partner. And that particular night, so November 25th, or maybe it was the 24th, and the 25th was my first day sober. So the 24th, I got too drunk. I got into a major fight with my boyfriend at the time. I said really harmful things to him. I ripped up something of his that was really significant and special to him. So basically I did a lot of harm to him. And I went home that night. I was living in San Francisco at the time, where I spent a lot of my life in San Francisco. I'm not there anymore. I'm in LA, but I was in San Francisco, and I went home and I hit bottom. And what it means when people talk about hitting bottom, this is very common in substance, when people get sober, often it's because they hit bottom. I hit my bottom. So what does that mean? I hit the place within myself where I couldn't stand who I was being. I couldn't stand who I had become. I couldn't stand it. And so like a convergence of a lot of things happened for me on that night. It was the night of my spiritual awakening. It was also the night of me getting sober. And these two things were very interlinked. So what happened was I was feeling horrible about myself. I'd just gotten into the horrible fight with my boyfriend. I was now back in my place, and I felt horrible. I felt worthless. I felt like the worst piece, I'm not going to say it, but like, that's what I felt, just like a piece of crap. Basically, I felt horrible. And so I was in that inner experience of like total self-hatred. And what I did, sorry about the motorcycle, what ended up happening was this inner voice kind of started breaking through. It wasn't even a voice with like language. It was just an inner knowing that broke through and said, honey, none of that is you. It's not you. Like all of this grossness and all of this self-hatred and all of this guilt and all of this shame, all of this, it's not you. And it didn't mean that my actions weren't me. It just meant like what that voice was doing was it was calling me back home to my essence. And it was like, look, there's a pure aspect of you that is perfect in all ways, that is beautiful and brilliant and bright and incredible in all the ways. And if you start listening to that voice, you're going to go home in the deepest way that you could ever possibly imagine. And you're going to create more than you can ever possibly imagine. You're going to succeed more. You're going to be more. You're going to have more. But you got to listen to that. And that was the awakening. And I touched into the felt experience of my essence. I did not know it was a spiritual awakening at the time. I probably told this in another video. I had to Google. I was like, that came through. I knew it was true. I knew at that same moment, drinking was out. I could no longer do it. I did not have the ability to drink in a way that kept me sane. I did not have the ability to drink and control it. I did not have the ability to drink and not get mad at some point. It's not like I got mad or angry every time, but I would explode from time to time. Drinking was out for me at that moment because I knew, because that awakening had come online, and I knew there's more for me. I am more, and I need to step up into that. And so on that day, I actually have a very close friend who also is sober. So I called her. She was more than ready to like welcome me in. She, brought me up to her house, and I don't think maybe we went to an AA meeting that first day, and I made the inner commitment. Okay, I'm going to let this go. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know who I was going to become. That's the scary part of letting something like drinking go, or letting these bad habits go, letting these habits that keep us down. We don't know who we are without it. I had been drinking my whole life. I had no idea who I was without drinking or partying. I was a party girl. I didn't know who I was. And so that's scary because you're stepping into the unknown. But luckily, that inner knowing stayed on board. Like I could feel it and I could hear it. And it was like, okay, I will follow you. I don't know where we are going. I do not know where this will lead. But I did know it was going to be good. And I knew it was going to be better than where I was. So that's where I started my journey of sobriety. And I was sober for 6.5 years. And yeah, there's a reason that I'm not sober anymore too. And so that's an important piece of the story to tell as well. But let me first just wrap up the sobriety part. It was such a blessing to become sober. I got to see that there was so much more to life and beyond my ways, the way I had been living for so many years. And life really did get brighter. It got more clear. I became more bright. That was both the awakening and not drinking anymore. I looked younger than I had ever looked before. I looked more radiant, and it was such a blessing for me. So the reason I am not sober anymore, and this is like, this is the journey. We are all on journeys and they are unique to us. I came to a point and I really contemplated it like for, I'd say over a year, maybe 2 years, if I truly wanted to be sober anymore. And the reason was I knew that I was never going to go back to where I had been. I knew I was never going to go back to that poor, lost, beautiful young girl who just coped with alcohol. I was never going to be her again. I had changed so much, and I had come so into my power and so into my fullness and so into my beauty. I knew that that power that I embody now, that I am now, I knew it wasn't going to go away. And I knew I could have a drink, and I knew I could have kind of any substance. I mean, I don't take a lot of substances, but I'm just saying, like, I knew that, first of all, I wasn't going to take a lot of substances because I actually really enjoy being in my health and my radiance and all of that. And I knew that I wasn't going to self-sabotage. I just knew. And so from that inner power, I made the decision to no longer be sober anymore. And I intentionally broke my sobriety. And I haven't been sober since that time. And that has been a gift too. And I personally don't drink that much. I've only been in that amount of time when I broke the sobriety till now, which is a couple years. I've been drunk once. So actually drunk happened once. It was really fun though. And it was great. I was with someone who was safe. It kind of randomly happened. It was super fun. I felt horrible and sick the next day. But I don't drink that much, but I do drink sometimes. So this is a little glimpse into my world. And I've had people ask me on my channel, can I manifest while drinking, or is drinking going to inhibit my ability to manifest? I kind of think that if you're asking that question, you might want to look into your relationship with drinking a little deeper. Because there's something, I don't think one would ask that question. This isn't across the board. But if there wasn't something that was concerning you about your drinking, I don't think you'd be asking that question. So does drinking as a general thing, does that inhibit our manifestations? No, actually nothing does. And of course, we're always manifesting, so you're going to manifest whatever you are anyways, but does it inhibit our higher level manifestations? Well, it just depends. It depends if you're caught in a dependency experience with a substance. There's probably some stuff to look at, because what is underneath that, and the reason for that is impacting your manifestations. That would be my suggestion, is to look a little deeper. But for me, does drinking inhibit my manifestations? No. I don't drink that much, but no, it doesn't. That's because I'm so solid in who I am, and I've done the inner work to become that person. So anyways, guys, this is a little glimpse into me, into my life, into my journey, into my path. I'm happy to share it with you. I'm so curious what you think about it. I'm curious about your relationship with alcohol or substances. If you want to share, I know that can be also a private thing, so you can comment below if you want. And yeah, just let me know what it feels like for you. I mean, do you enjoy me sharing these parts of my life with you? I'd love to hear in the comments below. Thank you guys for being here. I will see you soon.